Wow. Okay. This is the schedule. This is available online if you go to the Colman Dock Project website. There's also a link if you go to the main schedule page. This is the temporary weekend schedule. So most of the sailings will be between 5 and 30 minutes different than the regular one. As you can see, there's still a full schedule. It's just that because we're sharing a single slip, some of the crossings are going to be a little bit longer than usual. If the slip is already occupied, we can't pull in, so to speak. So we have to wait until that boat loads and unloads and then goes away. The good news here is that we looked at our volumes from 2017 for the same weekend, and there was not a major event that weekend either, and the volumes are lower than average. So we're confident we'd be able to use that single slip. And of course, we thank everybody thank you for your patience working with us. We're doing all of this critical safety construction while keeping the ferry terminal open and operational. That's my spiel. The Pacific Lifter, she's currently on the other side. You can see her cranes over there. This big barge is going to be sitting right there. It's going to occupy that slip where the Colman is, the northernmost slip. For that reason, and we need that barge because of this crane. What this crane does is it's going to build a platform here. It's going to drive piles to build a platform here, and then we're going to move the crane onto the platform so that the crane can pull the piles and drive the piles in. So this big barge, Pacific Lifter, is going to be parked right there. This slip one over on the far left, the southern slip, it's already closed for construction. It's been closed for a long time. It's going to reopen in November, leaving us only one available slip, and that's the center slip, what we call slip 2. So all weekend, every single sailing is going to come in and out of slip 2. And for that reason, we need to have a temporary weekend sailing schedule to accommodate this. Once, you can see here, this is what it's going to look like on the weekend. This whole area is closed off, but we are going to still have vehicle holding for Bremerton and Bainbridge on the south trestle, which is on the other side. And then all the overflow goes here. See, I'm here 48. You can also see here, this is the two-way street. Alaskan Way is going to be two-way, 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction at that point too.
I'm assuming because there's only, 2 lanes in each direction under the viaduct right now when you come into Jackson, this is going back to this weekend's work, that once it becomes 2 lanes, should the congestion that you might see sometimes around here, should that ease up a little bit? Or because it's closer to the entrance to get onto the ferries, maybe not the case? I know maybe that's hard to predict, but do you think some of the congestion might ease up a little bit here because there's more access points or more lanes for people to get by or that sort of thing? You know what I'm asking?
I do.
Okay.
That's hard to say because there's other construction happening in the area. I think that certainly during the fall that will be the case. I don't know if that will extend past once we hit January, once we hit the winter and the viaduct is closed and there's more closures happening around here, it may be just as congested. For the short term, it looks like it would alleviate some of that. Long term, I'm not sure.
Is this pretty short, that left turn?
So this is actually a benefit. What's been happening is that because there's only 1 lane in each direction under the viaduct right now at Jackson Street, everybody who wants to turn left from northbound into the Jackson Street entrance has had to wait behind traffic who just wanted to go north, and vice versa. So this allows a pocket for them. So that's a benefit. It helps to get the traffic out of the way while we maintain 2 lanes there. But so it'll probably be easier to access the ferry at South Jackson Street. The reason why I'm hedging is because it's a system, the way that this works. And the viaduct closure is channeling traffic from other streets that are closed as well, so the volumes could be different than they are today. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, So what's happening, I can show you what's coming. This is this next weekend's work right here, all routes share slip 2, starting on October 22nd. We go back to the configuration you see here, except you see this construction zone. That's because there's going to be a big platform right there for that crane that we're building this weekend or next weekend. Bremerton and Bainbridge, same thing with Pier 48. In late November, this slip reopens, slip 1 in the south, reopens. Everything shifts down. This slip closes for construction, and that's when we start to see the old piles come out. That's when we start to see the 70-year-old piles come out and the new steel piles being driven in on the north side. And the whole north side will be closed starting in late November. Everybody will shift here. All the holding will shift to the south. Bremerton will still be to the north. Bainbridge to the south, slip 1, slip 2. This configuration, it says through December 2018 because we wanted to show what was through fall. However, that's really going to extend through the spring because our whole goal here is to be able to reopen a section of the north in time for the summer season so that there's enough vehicle holding on the main dock here to hold at least one full vessel for each route. That's our goal for the busy season.
When is Colman supposed to be done?
2023.
23.
Yeah, so this weekend work that's coming up here helps us to stay on schedule because we have a very limited time it's called the fish window. You're probably well familiar with that. Environmentally, we're responsible to our underwater neighbors as well. And juvenile salmon swim through this area between mid-February and August, approximately. When they're here, they're really sensitive to noise. They're really sensitive to vibration and pounding in the water. It stuns them and it makes them go off direction. It messes with their navigation. So we don't do our pile driving work and our really loud in-water work when we know they're around. What we call that is a fish window. It's essentially the window of time when there are no fish. It's kind of an oxymoron. But in any case, that extends only through February. So we want to make sure we get all the piles out and all the new piles in on the north trestle as much as we can so that we stay on schedule. We don't have to extend this project out another year past 2023. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so then the last board. So what we're doing here is we're actually taking out what's inside that box. So it's some of the old mechanisms for the clock. Again, it's an electric clock that it's not plugged in, but it used to be a pendulum. Taking all of the clockworks out, taking the face out. It's going to go to a professional clock worker to restore. It's not going to be restored to the actual 30-foot pendulum. We're still going to keep it electric in it, but it will be cleaned up, and then we're going to reinstall it in the new ferry terminal when that opens, 2020. So what you can see here is we want to save as much as we can because we don't know if we're going to reuse the glass. So they're carefully taking off the glass panels, and they're going to put, you can see in the back there's like a box. They're going to put plywood. The box is for the clock, but they're going to put plywood all around it. Keep it here for as long as possible, and then when we can't keep it here any longer because of construction activity, we're going to move it over to our maintenance facility in Eagle Harbor for storage. Driving into or out of Colman Dock, whether you're on a bicycle, or you're in a car, or even if you're just walking, there's going to be lots more traffic. So we really want to make sure that folks look both ways and pay attention because right now there's much less traffic as it's really just used as an access road. Starting with the commute Monday morning, folks are really going to see a difference. There's going to be more traffic and we want to make sure people stay safe. really help people turn into the South Jackson Street entrance. What I can't stress enough is that we want people to stay safe. Yesler Way is really only available as an exit to Colman Dock. There's no entrance available there. So if you're heading on northbound or southbound Alaskan Way, you will not be able to turn into it. If you turn into Yesler Way at that point to access the toll plaza, you'll essentially be turning into the wrong way of traffic.
So Yesler will not enter onto, it's an exit.
Right. Yesler Way remains an exit only for all ferry traffic. So South Jackson Street is still the entrance if you're in a car. There's no changes at all if you're walking on or if you're biking on, but we really want folks to be careful because there's going to be a lot more traffic on the road right in front of the terminal. So this means that if you're walking, look right, look left, be careful. Don't just cross the red light as some folks do because there's been less traffic here. Now, some of the older folks will remember that years ago, before the viaduct program, this was a two-way lane over here. We didn't have 4 lanes of traffic in front of the ferry terminal and all the way down to the aquarium, as a matter of fact. And so the old-timers will remember that, but it hasn't been that way in a while. Since then, thousands of people have moved into the area. We really want to make sure that those folks are safe. If you're accessing the ferries, look left, look right before you go to Colman Dock or exit Colman Dock.
So maybe there'll be some sign configuration down in that area to clear some of that up to make sure people are confused during this weekend. Short time
Right, so this weekend, if you are in the area, especially if you're traveling on a ferry to or from Seattle, or if you're walking or this weekend, if you're in the area, be careful, watch out, there will be construction on this road, the road will be closed, the intersections will remain open, however, and the signals will remain operational, so that means please cross at crosswalks, wait for the light, wait until it's your turn to cross or drive across the street, and you should be fine.
During the weekend, in terms of driving to and from the ferry, yes, there will be one way, as of this weekend, out. Drive that correctly.
Right, so nothing changes this weekend in terms of getting to or from Colman Dock. Yes, the way remains exit only, and South Jackson Street is the entrance if you're in a vehicle to drive onto the ferry. If you're walking on, you can still access through the Marion Street Bridge or directly from the sidewalk on Alaskan Way. Another great thing about this traffic shift is it opens the sidewalk up again on the west side between Colman Dock and King Street. So before, cyclists, pedestrians had to walk under the viaduct, and now they can walk right along the waterfront, all the way from the aquarium south to Jackson Street and King Street. Any other questions, Ferry?
Thank you guys.
So just one other thing to say. So something else I wanted to make sure folks were aware of is that next weekend, you know that there's sports happening behind us in the viaduct. There's also some work happening at Colman Dock. We are closing down the north half of Colman Dock for construction all weekend long. And what that means is that we're going to be operating out of just one slip. So one slip will be closed, one slip will be open. All arrivals and departures coming in and out of Seattle from Bainbridge and Bremerton will share that single slip. So in order to accommodate that, we have a temporary weekend schedule. It's really important that folks check the schedule before you roll out. It's on our website, and you can also find copies inside the terminal. The sailings will be about 5 to 30 minutes different than they are the regular schedule, and we're just asking folks to have some patience. Sometimes the crossing times are going to be a little bit longer next weekend. That's October 20th and 21st. If there's already a ferry in the slip, our captains have been advised to drive a little bit slower to make room for that ferry in the slip to load and unload and then get out of the way so that they can make their landing.
Do you anticipate wait times, parking issues, might find ourselves sitting around or accessing the terminal? Are you concerned about that at all with building that level? Or is there enough capacity there to handle over a weekend?
So, historically speaking, this time of year, Washington State Ferries doesn't see nearly as many passengers or vehicles as we do during our busy time in the spring or summer. Next weekend, October 20th and 21st, all timing.